What's going on, Master Duel fans? James Polk here. Onwards to the second half with magical muskets. And looking at this hand, incredible. But the thing is, obviously the deck is known for going first or second based on how it's built properly. So let's see what's up for the opponent is playing. Branded Disciple. Okay, so that means Despia, if I were to guess. Right for Patchwork. Poly and Edge of Chain. Poly. So that means it's either Despias or Fluffles and Frifers. And if this isn't the case, based on the fairies and fiends, along with that branded disciple, it's either Quertus or something else. Masquerade, the Blazing Dragon. Dramaturge comes back, and Edge and Chain get Fright for Patchwork. Activates Imperm. On Masquerade, no more pain points after. Forbidden Chalice on Dramaturge. Cyclone under Caspar, banishing Branded Disciple. Caspar getting Dancing Needle. Caspar into Max. Max getting more Musket spells and traps. Cross Domination and Desperado. Cross Dom on Dramaturge. Despian Comedy in hand. And Desperado destroy Masquerade. Masquerade attempts to come back. Dancing Needle. That is on Masquerade, Poly, and Despian Comedy. Am I missing something out of Despian Comedy? Oh, tributes a fusion monster. Okay, that is not what I thought it was. Because when it comes to Despian Comedy, I thought for sure it said tribute one monster in general. Turns out you have to tribute a fusion monster for Comedy's other effect to work. And due to Despian Comedy saving Dramaturge, it's always a backup plan. Another Branded Disciple, Fright for Patchwork for Poly and Edge and Chain, and I believe that was another copy out the gate. Super Poly out of Dramaturge and Max for a second Masquerade. Same result. Patchwork in hand. Dramaturge comes back. A walloping 5,500 damage total. Regular Poly. Despian Quertus. Normal Caspar. Caspar into Max. Max effect. Masquerade comes back. Special Wild Bill. And I was also gonna special Samuel, I believe it was. So that way we want Samuel to boost up and hit over Masquerade, if I recall. Yep. Actually, this scenario would have been different if it was Quertus negate from Chalice in case if he were to resolve out the Disciple. But regardless, Despia players scooped. And this next matchup, looking at this hand, it's literally unplayable. Set, normal Raffion. Drew into ties, unplayable. Raffion shuffle back. Michion, fire off the impermanence so that my life points will not be cut in half. There's a monster, but it's not the right one. It is not the right one. Set and Michion shuffle back. There's a monster. Feather Duster. Empty Machine. Discard Raffion. Draw one. And it is not destroyed the first time. Penalty game. 4 or more, or 4 cards in their hand specifically, activate one of those. Your opponent cannot draw, otherwise, your opponent cannot activate spell traps this turn. Ties under Caspar, Billy the Kid, Doc Holliday, Caspar getting Desperado. Desperado the Empty Machine one more time, right where Billy the Kid is. Ditch Cross Dom, draw the 2, and set the Chalice right where Doc is. There's the Feather Duster. Actually, thank you, Doc Holliday getting Cross Dom and 2 set. Switch to attack. Caspar into Max. Max effect. Wild Bill, Calamity Jane, and if I were to use Doc Holliday and Max to make the hit potion again, so all 5 to the lights. 22, 21, 32, 19, 51, 2071. And even if I were to make a hit potion again, I do not think that's not enough for the OTK style. Quaking Mirror Force. You have got to be kidding me, man. Wow. Max for a full 1,000. Time Lord player set a monster. And a pass. Normal, honest. Excuse me? V-Gem, the Cubic Seed in Time Lord? You know what? I think it's meant for can't be killed by battle. So that way he'd stall himself out. But unfortunately, Cross Dom is a card to break through. Max over V-Jam. Honest for 11. Honest, go back. And pass. Set. And a pass. Max for 1,000. And 1 set. And that does it for the Time Lord player. Even if he Quaking Mirror Forced me, we still have answers in our hand to play. And this next matchup, looking at this hand, I'd say it's pretty solid. Normal Caspar and a pass. Normal Capricious Dark Lord. Fires off the Desperado right where Caspar is on the Dark Lord. Dark Lord Tribute for Tevis Goddess of Light. As an old card, if you're not familiar with Tethys, here's how she works. Level 5, Light Fairy, 2400 attack, 1800 defense. As a continuous effect, which doesn't activate, when you draw a fairy monsters more than one, and it has to be outside of the damage step, reveal one of those fairies, draw one. She must be face up at all times in order for her to activate and to resolve the effect. Cast bar, search for Cross Dom. Chicken game, Cross Dom on Tethys. Did the opponent scoop? But why though? What is with this deck list? Oh my god. Tethys FTK. Okay, here's the context of the FTK. The card you want to see at the beginning of it is Capricious Dark Lord, who says during the main phase, as a quick effect, activate this. Tribute summon one fairy monster face up. And the card you want to tribute summon would be Tethys. And once you have Tethys on the field, you play too many draw cards in terms of Chicken Game, Upstart Goblins, and to fix hands would be Magical Mallet and Reload. And of course, another draw card would be Into the Void. So, when it comes to drawing cards, Tethys, as mentioned, says as soon as you draw a fairy, you reveal one of those, keep on drawing until you reach a non-fairy. Most cases, that would be the spells. And once you have the scales, the scale range of, let's see what's the highest and the lowest. Highest scale of 8 and the lowest scale of 1. So once you set up the scales, you pendulum summon 2 level 3s. That would be Elitia, and obviously compulses the back row, one of your opponent's back row. But generally, the idea of scaling the monsters the most, that will be your Soulful Core pendulums that you want to scale. Scales of 2 and 6, making sure that the pendulum summon of a Soulful Core cannot be negated courtesy of Elitia. So what's going to happen is, once you get 2 level 3s on the field, being Elitia, you exi Shogun into humming the key Jin. Now normally, I have this Jin in my extra deck only because of the direct attack. But what the FTK player did in terms of abusing this type of a strategy is the game-winning card called Torpedo Takedown. What that card says is target one water XZ, and would you like to know, Jin is a water XZ. Detach 1, burn your opponent 400 for each card in your hand. And whose idea was it? Tethys, Goddess of Light. So the more fairies you have in your hand, the more burn damage you're going to receive to your opponent. So 400 per times the 20, 2, 4, 6, 8. There you go. So that is 8,000 damage with just 20 cards in hand. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you perform the Tethys FTK going first. And this next matchup, this hand, solid. Dark Lord, Nurse Reticule. So up against Nurse Burn. Gift card. I normally gain 3,000, but because this is Nurse Burn, I end up taking 3,000 instead, and there's the trap trick in Nurse Burn. I don't think that's not how you play Nurse Burn, because Trap Trick completely screws you over in performing the FTK. Why does it screw you over? It is because the side effect where it says you can only activate one trap card for the rest of the turn after this trap card resolves. What does it mean? Once Trap Trick resolves, once you play your one last trap card, you cannot play any more traps throughout the remainder of the turn. So, 3,000 damage taken. Finish a gift card. Set another. Another gift card. I take 3,000. No more trap cards for the opponent. Steady hands on Caspar, right in its column. Caspar, get the last stand. Caspar over Nurse. And I do not think that's not how you play Nurse FTK. Next time, take out the Trap Trick card, because you don't want to conflict with your own traps. And this next matchup, looking at this hand, pretty solid as well. Normal, Wild Bill. There's the Imperm. Fiendish Duel as a last resort in case the gimmick effect is shut off. Branded opening for Aluber. Aluber to search Super Poly Ditch Monster Reborn, and based off from this board state, Aluber and Wild Bill are on the field. So what fairy and or fiend fusion monster can we see in this board state? And never mind, Masquerade the Blazing Dragon is a card. Branded in red, 2-hand, set 1, Masquerade for 25, and pass. Caspar summon, pay 6 for Desperado, Dogmatica Punishment on Caspar. Okay, so Caspar is not dying due to Fiendish Duel, while Masquerade is saved by Branded Opening. The case is, if a fusion monster's more than one you control will be destroyed by a card effect, banish this from your grave instead. Pay the 6 for Caspar Search. Fiendish Duel to be destroyed from Entis. Pay my 6 to call by on the Entis, keeping my Fiendish Duel alive on the field. Get the Dancing Needle. Caspar into Max. Max effect as I pay the 6, getting the Cross Dom. Pay my 6 again, trigger on Masquerade. Should be the fusion for Comedy to come back, Masquerade to come back, Psych, Dancing Needle, Aluber, Comedy, and Masquerade, all banished. And at this point, knowledge has been known. Branded, red in hand. Max 4,000. And pass. Opponent drew, opponent pass. Normal Calamity Jane, 25 total. Set the imperm right where Calamity Jane is. Normal Skullmeister, Skullmeister over max. End phase imperm right where Calamity Jane is. Jane getting Wild Bill back. Switch to attack. Wild Bill into Max. Max getting Desperado. Desperado on Skullmeister right where Calamity Jane is. Calamity Jane for Caspar. Two together for hit post Shinnigan. And looking at the math now, it is short by 600, which is for some reason that is not lethal. Ultimate Slay. Are you actually kidding me? Ultimate Slayer. So, once being played, your opponent cannot activate monster effects in response to this. So let's see what's the case about Ultimate Slayer. Send one monster from your extra deck to your graveyard, then target one monster your opponent controls with the same card type, Fusion, Synchro, Exceed, Pendulum, or Link. Shuffle it back into the deck. Lucky for us, last stand, and just so you know, that was literally right where Calamity Jane is. Calamity Jane, revive Caspar, and pass. Calamity Jane, lethal. And in this next matchup, looking at this hand, I'd say it's pretty good. Plunder Patrol Shipyard. Okay, so Plunder Patrols. This is gonna get interesting. If anyone knows about the solo story mode of Plunder Patrol, everybody should know what's up with the archetypes. So starting off fresh with the Shipyard. Shipyard. Uh-oh. Mixed in with Destiny board? Here we go, y'all. Plunder Patrol with Destiny board. So, Mission of Destiny board. When this card and all 4 Spirit Message cards with different names are placed on your field, the game is automatically over and the Plunder Patrol player wins this duel. Once per turn, during your opponent's end phase, place 1 Spirit Message card from your hand or deck in your spell trap zone face up in the proper order of I, N, A, and L. When any Spirit Message card or Destiny board you control leaves the field, no matter where it goes, send, not destroy, but send all Spirit Message cards and Destiny board you control to the graveyard. As in, do not let this card reach the word final Otherwise, the game is automatically over. Getting Whitebeard. Whitebeard summon to set. Normal Wild Bill. Ties of the Brethren out of Wild Bill. Calamity Jane and Bellstar. Upstart. Whitebeard. Turn it into Liss. In this one for Liss, when your opponent activates a monster effect specifically, keyword monster effect, discard one Plunder Patrol card, spell trap included, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. Then, upon equipped with a Plunder Patrol card, add a Plunder Patrol card, spell trap included, from deck to hand. Raigeki. Wait, what? Doesn't Whitebeard... Send from the monster zone. Okay, that is not what I thought it was. Because if it would have said, if it's sent from any zone to the graveyard, that would have been insane. But most cases, just like every other main deck Plunder Patrol gimmick, most if not all of them, if it's sent from hand or monster zone specifically to the grave, special one patrol from the deck that isn't the copy themselves. Shipyard. Discard the ship's shipping. Desperado, the field spell, resolve without effect. Right where Bellstar is. Bellstar attempts. There's the impermanence. Right where Calamity Jane is. Problem is, no Musket monsters in the graveyard. Tribute off Bellstar for Samuel. There's the Destiny board. And the race is on. Max Effect, Special Billy the Kid, and Calamity Jane. And everybody for 8,300 because I upstarted my opponent. So, will this change anything based on hit post Shinnigan? So, 3,000, 22, 21, 19. 21, 19, 4,000, 22, and 3,000. Yeah, that's literally lethal. It's just I didn't make hit post Shinnigan to get the OTK going, even with the Upstart Goblin. And one set. There's the letter I. And the Plunder Patrol Destiny board player scooped. And this next matchup, looking at this hand, it's straight up unplayable. Another Labyrinth matchup, Field Spell, followed by Lady, and 3 sets. Top deck the Musket, Link into the Brains. If you're not familiar with this card, here's how this works. Once played, the Link summon cannot be negated. Also, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects when a Link monster that is Link summoned in order to activate its effects. So here's the case. Special summon one monster from the hand, but negate its effects. Then, immediately after this effect resolves, put up a Link summon involving that special summon monster. So what's going to happen is one monster is going to get summoned, most likely a Musket, turns it into Max, and what's going to happen is once Max activates its effects, your opponent cannot literally do anything to stop me from going off. Special Calamity Jane, and turn her into Max. Max effect, Samuel, Caspar, Billy the Kid, and Wild Bill Hickok. Upstart, right where Caspar is. Caspar search for Desperado. Using Lady for the return of Underworld Goddess. 3,000, 25, and do not forget about normal summoned Doc with 14. Compulse on Samuel, top deck Lady. Labyrinth spell, Underworld Goddess negate. And that is game. And this last matchup, looking at this hand, solid. That would be set. Aruha destroy Abominable Chamber. An Abominable Chamber for Sarama. Sarama set, destroy Aruha. Aruha for Solo Disaster. Two together for Soul of Rage. And another set. Fires off the Imperm so that we can't let the Unchained use our monsters for the summon. Link it to the range. Special Samuel into Max. Max effect. Billy the Kid Caspar, normal Wild Bill. Desperado, right where Caspar is on Soul of Rage. Caspar search. Sarama, get the recur. Abominable Unchained Soul with 3,000 flat. There's the Sarama. Getting Dancing Needle. Abominable. Forbidden Chalice on Unchained Soul. Billy the Kid, ditch Dancing Needle. There's the Abominable Chamber. And Impermanence, right where Caspar is, on Billy the Kid. The return of Soul of Rage. Using the 4, for the return of Underworld Goddess, and the two behemoths are battling it out. Abominable over Caspar, and the real behemoths battle. Bellstar. Bellstar into Max. Max effect, getting Cross Dom. Activates it on Abominable. 3,000 flat and 1,000. Abominable comes back, but Underworld Goddess negates it. Set 1. Normal Doc. Abominable, right where Doc is. Goddess negates it. And this is lethal. So guys, that's gonna do all of the matches for the Fiend side of Magical Muskets. And we will see you guys at the deck profile. And as you guys can see about magical muskets, I went with this deck because it's literally my only Fiend deck out of all the Fiend decks owned. And it made me think, okay, this is for sure a sleeper deck of all Fiend decks. So let's jump into this deck list for you guys. 3 Caspars, 2 Doc Holidays, 3 Billy the Kid. In this Fairy Fiend format, this used to be 2 Billy the Kid. Now realizing that he's the lower level, highest beat sticks of level 3s, he's needed for in terms of the draw power, in terms of being the biggest beater of the lower level guys. And then the other muskets, 3 Bellstar, 2 Calamity Jane, 1 Wild Bill Hickok, and Samuel the Black Huntsman. Yes, indeed. If you're wondering on those nicknames for them, it is actually historian nicknames, all from the Musket lore, in terms of the origin names. And then for your non-muskets, Honest, because the whole deck is light, and my only hand trap of choice outside of Damage Step Honest happens to be Skullmeister Spiced. When it comes to Skullmeister, if you're not familiar about how the card works, is when a card effect is activated in your opponent's graveyard as a quick effect, send this card from hand to the graveyard, negate that effect. As in, not once per turn. This card came up throughout too many Labyrinth matches, and it's basically where whenever they use Big Welcome to compulse my own cards, Skullmeister come in clutch to negate the Big Welcome, canceling out the Lovely's effects. And then as for the spell lineup, Raigeki Feather Duster, Upstart, 3 Ties of the Brethren. If this card resolves going first, you literally win this game. 1 Pot of Desires, just the 1. 2 Link Into the Reigns. If this card resolves going second, you literally win this game. 2 Forbidden Chalice, 2 copies of Cosmic Cyclones, Steady Hands, just the 1, 3 Cross Domination Basic, and 1 Call by the Grave. And then as for the traps, 3 Desperado Basic, Dancing Needles. This is our DD Crow of the musket traps. Fiendish Steel to protect our musket. Last Stand to negate the spells and traps, and 3 Imperms. And then extra deck. Humming, DDD Stone King Darius. And this was literally like one of the last minute cards in muskets, because the only thing I never realized about Stone King Darius, what I should have done differently, and this was something I did not even know about. Stone King Darius turn him into the DDD Machine X, the rank, one of those higher rank XZs you can overlay with just 1 Triple D monster to use. As for Stone King Darius, during anyone's turn, detach 1, target 1 Dark Contract card you control, kill it, and if you do, draw 1. Which obviously, no Dark Contracts. We're not playing the actual DD Dark Contract cards. But the realist reason is, if this card battles an opponent's monster during damage calc, detach 1, make this card unable to be killed by battle, kill the opponent's monster that battled it after damage calc, and if you do, burn your opponent for 5, which is absolutely insane. Rhapsody in Berserk, this card was only made once, and this card was not seen since Necros format. And I decided, you know what, it's time to bring this fiend back into the game. As for Rhapsody in Berserk, the Exi effect has never really come up, but the other effect where up to twice per turn, not once, but twice per turn, detach 1, target 1 card in your opponent's graveyard, banish it. Which is super nice. And in case if you lost out your Dancing Needle, you have Rhapsody in Berserk as a backup for it. Minerva, card is super nice. Babushka. And then the links, Underworld Goddess of the Closed World, cards clutch in case of unoutable monsters. Unchained Abomination, Appaloosa, Muckraker from the Underworld, card is ridiculousness because obviously we're playing fiends, so reborn literally any fiend is just straight up absurd. Muckraker is basically Calamity Jane of the extra deck, based on playing muskets. Hippo Shinigami, because for some reason when muskets first printed, they are actually lights instead of darks. Weird. Nightmare Phoenix, and the strongest Link 1 ever to be made, Max. With that being said, this is James Polk on the Fiend side for the Fairy Fiend effect. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and if you haven't already, smash the notification bell to keep yourself constantly updated, and we'll catch you guys next time.